So, Benoit Saint Denis versus Mauricio Ruffy has been added to UFC Fight Night Paris. Of course, Benoit Saint Denis being the Frenchman who's been in the UFC for a good number of years at this point and has experienced a wide range of wins and a couple of losses in his UFC career. Had a 5-fight win streak at one point and is of course coming off a win, but notable losses against Dustin Poirier and Renato Moicano. Of course, the loss to Moicano did come at the last UFC Fight Night Paris, where Moicano mollywopped him and just beat the brakes off of Benoit Saint Denis. But of course, Benoit Saint Denis is back again against another Brazilian fighter. Ruffy is absolutely the truth, in my opinion. He's an up-and-coming prospect. Love his style, love his distance management. He's a long, lengthy, rangy striker with a lot of dynamic strikes and mixes it up really well with the punches and kicks and, masterfully sort of manages that distance, right? And you look at Benoit Saint Denis' sort of path to victory, it's pretty much going to be on the ground. It's going to have to be a submission because Benoit Saint Denis offers next to no challenges for Ruffy on the feet. Of course, it's MMA, it's 4-ounce gloves. Benoit Saint Denis could land on Ruffy and drop him, but I don't think that's going to happen because you've got a guy in Ruffy who's so slick. And up till now, we've seen him manage the distance really well against everyone and mix it up really well. But of course, this will be the biggest profile name on Ruffy's resume to date. But honestly, from what I see in both guys' fights, I don't think Benoit Saint Denis mixes everything up well enough to be able to get this fight to the ground and potentially get a submission. Now, I don't know if Ruffy's, what his grappling game's like. He's from the Fighting Nerds and he's Brazilian, so no doubt it's, pretty good. You know what I mean? No doubt it's probably decent. And he's a fighter where his striking is so dynamic. That in and of itself is his sort of takedown defense. The fact that his footwork and his distance management and his fighting IQ and the striking really is his takedown defense, if that makes sense. Whereas Benoit Saint Denis is good in some aspects and has got some decent wins in his career, but anytime he's faced someone at that next sort of level, he's not got the victory over them. And we'll find out if Mauricio Ruffy is ready to go to that next level. I mean, in a lot of ways, Benoit Saint Denis is sort of the gatekeeper for unranked lightweights. If you're an unranked lightweight and you're on the fringe, you're on the precipice, you fight Benoit Saint Denis, and if you beat him, then you're in. I think that's probably going to be Benoit Saint Denis' role going forward, because no doubt he will never become a world champion in the UFC, Benoit Saint Denis. Benoit Saint Denis at his absolute best, from this point going forward, would be a top 10 lightweight. And I look at that top 10 and I struggle to see guys that he beats. But like I said, styles make fights and maybe he could work his way into the top 10. But that'll be for after this fight because in my opinion, I think Ruffy's going to win this fight. Honestly, I could see this being a pretty easy win for Ruffy because Benoit Saint Denis never fought a striker as dynamic as this. Dustin Poirier is a very good boxer for the UFC, but he doesn't mix it up like Mauricio Ruffy. Moicano just ragdolled him, and that was mostly on the ground. So, do you know what I mean? Like, there is levels to this, and I think Mauricio Ruffy's striking is just levels beyond, or almost anyone at lightweight, if I'm being honest. I look at lightweight, I'm thinking, okay, you've got Ilya, but Ilya's a lot of power. His boxing's very good, but Ilya's a lot of power. Who else? Max Holloway. Yeah, Max Holloway, to be fair. Max Holloway looks like he's got tremendous speed for a lightweight, which of course he does. He was fast for featherweight, so no doubt he's going to be fast at lightweight. So, apart from those two, who are two guys in the top 5, do you know what I mean? I don't think Mauricio Ruffy gets outstriked by anyone in the lightweight division in the UFC. But yeah, I'll be curious to know what you guys think of this fight. Do you think Benoit Saint Denis can get another win and extend his win streak to 2 fights? I think he's on a 2-fight win streak. If he was to beat Ruffy, it'd be a 2-fight win streak, that is. Or do you think Ruffy's going to continue to steamroll competition and make his way into the UFC lightweight top 15? I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. And yeah, another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.